Jerry Lawler, he does his podcast every week as well. Everybody has a podcast now, but his I like.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the current product in WWE and about critics. And he said something that I thought was pretty funny. I mean, and I say that sarcastically. And I'm a big fan of Jerry Lawler's, but I think he's way off on this. Regarding the critics, he thinks that the critics of WWE is, as he called it, a tiny minority of the fan base. He says, and I quote, "Everyone does not complain about the current product. It's not the vast majority either. It's a small amount of people, a very select few that probably have nothing better to do than live their life on social media. That is really sad. But those are the people that complain. If you've got nothing better to do in your life than spend time sitting down and typing something on your phone and getting on social media to complain about a wrestling show, man, you really do need to get a life." To all those naysayers there, you've got to eat your words, because whether they're doing it, it's definitely working. You can't knock success, so there you go. My answer to that is that not every fan out there is required to have a social media page, a podcast, a website, be a member to complain about the product. The fact is, and I took away the WrestleMania before and after, because that rating is always inflated. I went 2 weeks after the fact. April 16th, they had 3.6 million viewers for Raw. 1 month later, they have 2.6 million viewers. 1 million less people tuned into Raw last week than they did 1 month earlier. Last week's Raw was the lowest rated Raw since the summer of last year. Last week's SmackDown was the lowest rated SmackDown, I think, since last year. All right, so as far as it be making it sound like it's just a handful of marks that have no life, that are on social media, there's a million fans that decided, you know what? I'm going to do something else on Monday night than watch WWE Raw. I'm going to do something else than watch SmackDown on Tuesday live. All right. And the thing is that, this is the funny thing about it. When we were talking earlier, as far as websites that don't have a fucking clue about common sense in the real world and things like that, there are people out there that actually are trying to throw in people's faces that they're obviously doing something right with Roman Reigns. They just signed $1 billion TV deal. All right. They don't understand about Saudi Arabia being a factor. They don't understand, as I talked about on Breakfast with Blassie, the fact that UFC went to ESPN and UFC is not going to be involved with Fox. There is a major gapping hole in Fox Sports right now that they needed to fill. And I'm sorry, volleyball ain't fucking filling it. Other sports, unfortunately, are not filling it because those sports are already taken up on other shows. So they got a WWE deal for a lot of reasons. Facebook, the Mixed Match Challenge, WWE made over $100,000 per episode. They got more money than viewers. Think about that. They made $100,000. If they got $1 for every viewer, they still wouldn't. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they make $100,000 and only get 80,000 people to watch it on social media. WWE is making a killing right now with the TV deal, going to Saudi Arabia, doing the UK tournaments, expanding to other fields, their network, their movies. There's just a lot of things going on. So ESPN signing a deal with UFC is another factor why WWE got an even better deal. It's not the major reason or the only reason, but I'm saying is when you see websites that are trying to incorporate what you're watching on TV as the reason why they got the $1 billion deal, that's insane. This is the lowest fucking ratings that they've gotten almost in history, and they still inked a $1 billion TV deal. So obviously you can't blame the current product. You can't say, well, the current product is successful. Look, we just got a $1 billion deal. It's WWE. It's a global entertainment company. Yeah. It is not just what you see on TV. In fact, the wrestling that you see on TV, little by little, is getting smaller and smaller and smaller as far as the overall picture of what WWE is all about.
It's true.
That's why they push, some people that they do. And that's why they really are just so stubborn with turning Roman Reigns. And I got news for you. I was joking around with somebody over the weekend about this. You know what I think would be the money feud for them to do?
What?
Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, eventually, sometime down the road. Yeah.
I mean, maybe they can hold off till WrestleMania. I would like to see it on the fast track. You got to remember, right now, I think it would be fascinating to see how the kids and women would react in a feud like that. Because good.
It's a great feud. It's actually, I think it would be a really interesting feud, especially with Seth Rollins' surge in popularity. Roman Reigns being so polarizing, he'll have a scattered amount of fans cheering for him, regardless if he's heel or not heel or whatever you want to perceive him as, or whatever his official title is. But Seth Rollins is, so hot right now, and I feel it's almost like ad nauseum saying that because everyone's saying that. And we'll get into tonight. It looks like, by the way, I was hoping this feud would happen, that Elias and Seth are going to have a feud for the Intercontinental title, which I think is a good matchup.
Well, it would be interesting to get the belt off of Seth Rollins and maybe have Seth Rollins go after Brock Lesnar for the title. I mean,
that's what I'm thinking that too. I think if anything, Elias is a good IC level champion, and Rollins should be going on to bigger things, being this hot of a guy, selling merch, the reactions, being the hot baby face. He should be. IC title is fine, as you know, DT, but ultimately he's got to go above that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Elias. I mean, he's very entertaining with his skits and everything. But if you actually watch his matches closer, I mean, WWE still has him lose too many matches, in my honest opinion. And, could you really see Elias as being the one to take the belt off of Seth Rollins? I don't know. I mean, again, I'd like to see Seth Rollins going for the heavyweight title, but maybe they should have, not at Money in the Bank, but maybe they should have had some type of a match where maybe it's a ladder match for the IC title, put Seth Rollins in there with 5 other people, and, this way Seth Rollins doesn't have to be pinned to lose the title. And then you have something with Brock Lesnar. I see. I don't know if WWE would really want to have Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar in a match. I mean, if everyone out there, when you always made fun of Finn Balor's size, I mean, what are you going to say now because you're a fan of Seth Rollins that the size difference doesn't mean anything anymore? That's why.
No, but isn't Seth is a pretty tall. I don't know if anybody wants to look it up. Isn't Seth like 6'2"?
Seth is very tall.
Seth is a big guy.
I think Seth is taller. I think Seth is taller than 6'2".
Yeah, I mean, so height-wise, he matches up. Balor's like, what, 5'10"? I mean, 5'9", 5'10".
I wouldn't say that.
No, but Rollins is a bigger man. He's a bigger guy. He's got some bulk on him. He's not like super thin or anything. No, Rollins is a pretty sizable guy. Yeah. I don't see that as a miss. Listen, AJ had a great match with Brock Lesnar. Rollins is bigger than him, so why wouldn't Rollins have a kick-ass match with Lesnar?
Yeah, Boom Shakalaka, because I trust you, Boom. Go online and tell me what the height and weight is for Seth Rollins and the height and weight for Finn Balor. Yeah, because I see a bunch of people posting, 6'1", 6'4". He's not 6'4".
He's not 6'4". That's a little much.
I'd say 6'1" or 6'2" at the most.
Yeah, I'd say 6'2", and I would say Finn Balor's about 5'10", and I would say Rollins has at least 40 pounds on Finn Balor. Maybe 30.
I'd be surprised if Finn Balor's only 2 inches shorter than.
He's just bulkier. Like Finn Balor's really streamlined. I mean, it's interesting. Like this stuff, even though it's it's predetermined. We're not going in like bantamweight or whatever. Like this is legitimate. Like in UFC or boxing, where someone doesn't qualify because of their weight or body type. But I think Rollins has a decent size advantage over Finn Balor.
Yeah. So. Well, I'm waiting for Boom to actually look up the numbers.
I'm surprised we haven't had 10 people write it.
Well, I mean, honestly, there's about 40 people putting in just guesses, and I'm just ignoring them, to be honest with you. Okay, Boom says Balor's height and weight is being listed as 5'11", 170. Wow. 170 sounds awfully low. I mean, you're trying to tell me he's 35 pounds lighter than a 205 live guy. There's no fucking way.
170?
Nah, that's a little bit too small. That's way too small. There ain't no way that he's only 170. It's just just no way.
My guess is Rollins is 6'2", 230.
I mean, what do you think James Ellsworth weighs? $120? You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, seriously.
I don't know. Now I'm starting to doubt everybody's height and weight.
Yeah, you know, I just see, we don't have like baseball cards. We could just, even though the baseball cards were always wrong also. So.